This video is about the Uncanny Valley, something that I was introduced to in 2013 roughly when I read a book called Survival of the Prettiest about sort of social political dynamics of advancing one's self using different means of becoming more attractive, written by Nancy Edkoff. And she had talked about this Uncanny Valley, especially when the concept of plastic surgery where people just don't look quite right. This term, the reason I thought about it more recently was I was looking at a review for the new Apple Vision Pro that's coming out next year, that because when you're doing FaceTime with goggles, they actually have to substitute your face for a likeness of you that really does technically incredibly well to capture your likeness and to look just like you. But it's not you, it's actually just a computer-generated image of you that looks very similar to you, moving at the same rate your mouth is and everything like that. And a couple of the reviewers used this term, Uncanny Valley. Uncanny Valley was coined in about 1970 by a Japanese person, Masahiro Mori. And this term has come about to describe this valley between a fully human person and someone that's not quite there. I think it's sort of like Westworld or Stepford Wives. If you think about someone in the side that looks like a robot or a stuffed animal, for example, there is no real repulsion because it just looks like something that doesn't even get close to a human. But as you get closer and closer to what looks like a human, but it's not quite looking like a human, your brain actually feels an emotional sickness, like an emotional revulsion to this, and that's the Uncanny Valley. So it talks about how you stay over here where you're not bothered by it, and then you drop down to a point where you go, boy, that's really disturbing to me. And then when it looks pretty much exactly like a human, you can come back toward the good side. So where people, when they're looking at individuals that have had cosmetic surgery that is not quite right, it makes them not happy and makes them sick when they see these individuals. And if you watch my video where I talk about your standard is too low for naturalness, it's true. There's two things that I see all the time. One is someone will say, look at these 3 people that look fake, and they could be at a party and they will miss about 10 of them because my standard is incredibly high. The other component of this is that there is a sad change where people actually enter the Uncanny Valley unwittingly. They may have all the intention in the world to look natural, but they don't understand they actually entered it. And there's a feeling that, oh, it's because they did too much. And I'll be very honest with you, you can do 1 syringe of filler and look totally off in the cheek or in the lips. You could do 1 small thing and it could look bad, and I could put in 9 syringes of fillers or do a facelift, deep neck lift, rhinoplasty, and you will look 100% natural. So it is something, it's not the quantity, it's really the quality. And so people feel like, oh, they just did too much. And no, it's actually sometimes yes, but it's actually just badly done. And so I've also heard from patients who feel very guilty. There's this video I shot many years ago called Forgiveness in Plastic Surgery, where patients may have had a bad outcome or a poor outcome, and they usually blame themselves more than the physician. They usually talk about how they really made a bad choice, they made a bad decision to go to see this doctor, they didn't do enough research, they wish they had thought about it more. But what's interesting with this concept is that what I see with patients is that they don't blame the doctor for making them look weird. But in my opinion, it's really the doctor's fault for doing it, because the patients don't have there's several reasons. One, the patient doesn't have enough standard for what is natural. You say, well, come on, I look at fake people all the time, but I will tell you, you don't do this for a living. As I was mentioning in my other video about the standards too low, if you don't make shoes for a living, even though you understand what it looks like, beautiful shoes or tasteful shoes, you don't understand technically what is perfect. Just like if you are not a contractor for a home, you may go, well, that home is great, but a contractor will walk through and go, no, it's poorly designed, it's going to collapse in 5 years, there's serious flaws into the framework or whatever it may be. There are things that you don't know, so it's up to the physician to keep you from the Uncanny Valley, not you. So that slope going down, that slippery slope, you don't know what looks fake. And I have patients that come to me and they look progressively weirder. And when I see them, a great example, someone that I've done some work on, and she does fillers with me, but she wants to keep her lips unnatural and goes somewhere else. I still work on her. I've designed her face very effectively. I think I've done a great job, but she refuses for me to dissolve the lips and redesign them because she can't see that they don't look right, or maybe she is not bothered by the Uncanny Valley. So for me, I have to care more than you care. And that's why sometimes I'm actually more passionate than my patients would be about what they do. But you're the one wearing the work. And a lot of people think, well, that's because you want to protect your reputation. And of course, that's probably an ulterior motive there. I can't deny that. But honestly, the huge part of it is being an artist. I'm very passionate about my work. And so, like when I paint a painting, I actually don't paint it for the viewer. I paint it for myself. I spend a lot of time making corrections that I know you, as an untrained artist, will never be able to appreciate I did. I will spend that time to make it right because I know that it will look better to me. Great example this morning. I just finished a rhinoplasty on a lady with a very deviated septum. I mean, it was completely cracked. She couldn't breathe. I did a spreader graft. I redid the tip. I centered it. But there was just about a millimeter dip I didn't like in the super tip. So I spent another 45 minutes making that small correction. She probably would have been extremely happy that her nose was straighter, that she could breathe incredibly well, that her hump was gone, that her tip looked more refined, her tip was much straighter. But there was something that I don't think she would ever appreciate. But I spent that extra 45 minutes because I knew that it would be something that would affect how I viewed my work. Even though I think everyone out there would look at it and think, it's pretty darn good. And I don't think it would impact my business, so to speak. So a large part of this is when individuals are coming to see me, I'm not actually treating you. So sometimes you'll hear me very passionate about things, and I will say, look, no, I won't do that. And I had a lady, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, who said, and it's worth telling these stories again. I tell these stories 1,000 times, so I know them. And they're all true. I had a patient of mine that says, look, Dr. Lamb, I send you so many patients, and there's a patient last week that was very, very angry at you. She got up and left. I said, oh, I know who it is. I said, first of all, thank you for sending me patients. But that patient had very, very, very fake lips, and she wanted fat grafting. And I mentioned to her, hey, you may want to consider dissolving the lips a little bit, letting me redesign them so that they look more appropriate besides doing the fat grafting. Well, I'm not telling her she has to do the lip dissolve. As I told you, I have another lady that has artificial lips that I still do fillers on. I do other treatments for. But here's a lady that just didn't take it right because she was offended by that. She can't see her lips look off, or maybe she doesn't care. So I always tell my patients, I'm more than honored and thankful for referrals. It's your trust in me to send me patients that or individuals that you want to look like you. But the one referral I do not want is someone that looks fake that wants more fake. If they look crazy and you think, well, Dr. Lamb can fix them. If the patient doesn't want to be fixed and cannot see it, we'll have a very difficult combative relationship, and it won't be a fun one for me. As an artist, I cannot stand when something looks totally crazy and you want more crazy. So the one thing is, my standard is higher than yours, so if we connect through these videos and you haven't been my patient, and you're even coming from California or coming from New York or wherever it may be, and these words have resonance with you, then I feel very confident I can help you. But if you're looking for something that is not really a good fit with me, don't come. I mean, it's going to be an aggravating experience for you, and it'll be an aggravating experience for me, and life is way too short to be aggravated, so I do not want to enhance the Uncanny Valley. And be prepared for me to mention if I see elements of your face that are in the Uncanny Valley, because we need to get out of it. There's just, life is short. And the other thing I've heard all the time is, well, my filler is going to go away. First of all, that's not true. Fillers do not go away. Restylane and Juvederm do not go away. They stay forever. I've had patients who are 10 years, 12 years out, still there, 20 years out, it's still there. So absolutely false information that these things go away. And plus, every day you look fake is a wasted day of your life. We don't have many years on this earth. Why would you choose to look fake for even one day? Why would you want to not look right for a year to let it dissipate, which it won't. I think that's crazy. I know that may probably be an excuse to say, look, don't touch my filler, I get it. But those that understand, that they trust my opinion, they go, look, hey, I get the fact that I don't look quite right, or I didn't even know I did, but I trust your opinion, Dr. Lamb, then that makes sense, because the first thing is to exit the uncanny valley. Before you fix a saggy neck, before you fix a hollow eyelid, it's, to me, more important to get out of the uncanny valley, because you can't look good if you don't look natural. So this is a concept that hopefully has resonance for you if you're a prospective patient coming to see me.